Hello, Aaron. It's an absolute pleasure to have you with us here today. So, where are you based currently and how have you been?
So that's an interesting question because actually where I'm based is everywhere. I travel so much, quite often. I'm like actually a modern day gypsy in a way. I grew up in Israel. I'm American originally, grew up in Israel. I was based in Thailand for the past 5 years, and then when the COVID came, I moved to Mexico.
All right.
And now I'm thinking that I'm gonna base in Mexico from October, but we'll see, yeah? A little bit all over the place.
Okay. So let's start from your first DJ gig. Where was your first performance and who have you played it with? And do you recall any memorable moments?
Yeah, I mean, all the moments are quite memorable. I mean, I've been doing this for 10 years and my first gig, actually I remember I made it myself. I decided, hey, I want to do a party. So I decided to talk to some friends that I knew and I rented my friend's restaurant in Israel, in Jerusalem, and I made my own event there and it was a great success and I really thoroughly enjoyed it. So I just said, okay, let's keep going with this. This is something I really love to do. In terms of artists that I've played with, wow, I've played with so many artists, but I guess a few to name are Hernan Cattaneo, Armin Miran, Stan Kolev, Matan Kaspi, Black Coffee, and a few others, as well. So yeah, I mean the list is super long, but this is just to name a few. So.
All right. So when did you first start making music, and what was your first studio like?
Yeah. So, well, 10 years ago when I got into music, I started with a friend, and we were a duo, and I was going under a different name. Actually, it was the name Levy and Suiss. So it was a partner and myself, and. In this time, I wasn't such an experienced producer. I was just starting out with the music, and my partner was an experienced producer. So I got to sit by him for something like 6, 7 years, something like that, and see what he's doing and learn from him and watch how he uses the software, which I use is Cubase, by the way. Most people use Ableton, but me, I like to use Cubase. So yeah, and I started off with him, learning to use the software, and one thing led to another, and yeah, I just ended up doing it by myself after I like to work alone. This is more important for me. But my first studio is my first studio was in the bottom of a big building in a garage.
Oh, okay.
And it was actually about the size of this space here. Nice. It was like 150, maybe this is bigger actually, but it was some big space, and we had a really good deal on the rent, and we just filled it with musical equipment, and it was super like underground studio vibes. And yeah, that was my first studio. And was there another part of the question?
That's about it for that. Cool. And how long did it take for you to find your own sound as a producer?
Yeah, that's an interesting question because I'm still finding my own sound,
Right.
And I think that there's so much growth to be had as a human, and as a person that is constantly going through life and growing and adapting and changing. So to find my own sound, like I don't have really ideas beforehand. I usually just go into the studio and just whatever comes out, and yeah, I mean like
you just go with the flow.
Kind of going with the flow. I mean, sometimes I have like these ideas in my head, especially for bass lines, like the groove of the tracks. Like this is more something that I have ideas for, and then I can lay it out. But yeah, how did I find my sound? I mean, I guess I do have my own sound in a way, and it just kind of came to me,
Yeah.
I didn't search for
You're
it.
natural
I didn't dig and find it somewhere. It just came to me.
Yeah, it's just natural. You're natural.
Yeah, it just came naturally. This is exactly.
Yeah. So you recently released an episode with Peled on Timeless Moment, which received a lot of positive feedback from the audience, energetic and emotional and equal. So round off your 3 excellent productions. Can you tell us a bit about these releases and the production process behind them?
Yeah, so this release is actually really special to me, and Peled we have a project together. I mean, it's Aaron Suiss and Peled, and this is the project. This guy is really special to me, and he is a super talented producer. So when I sit with him in the studio, like it's just crazy because everything I think of, he can do, you know. And when I'm by myself, I'm not as experienced as him in the studio. He has many years on me for the experience, and everything I think of we can do, and it's super fun to work in the studio with him. So, you know, generally for this specific EP, I didn't sit with him in the studio. I made some parts of it, sent it to him. He made some parts. We sent it back and forth. Right. But yeah, so you know, this production process of this EP was more of me having some ideas and sending it to him having the idea, putting his ideas on top of my ideas, sending it back to me.
Okay.
And we kind of went playing ping pong.
Yeah, like together. A back and forth process.
Yeah, and this EP for me was a big one and an important one. I really like the label of Danilo is Mortagua, which is Timeless Moment. And I really have a special connection with that EP. Yeah, it was for me.
It's your baby, almost.
Yeah, I really liked that one.
Okay.
And we have a lot more coming up with me and Pellet, actually, like really a lot of music together. We work super well together, and it's nice to have somebody like that I can.
She just goes along with your style of music.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So you have a fairly good collection of tracks released. It's a really big success. After so many releases, how do you see your sound has evolved through the years?
Well, as I said before, you know, you're constantly growing as a person, and you know, as you're growing and evolving, your sound is also growing and evolving. So how I see it, I mean, before when I was working with a partner, I was coming from a more trance and hip hop background, two separate things, yeah,
really?
Two separate genres, totally on the opposite sides of the scale, but yeah, you know, I was coming from those backgrounds. So, you know, really, I've evolved from hip hop to trance to G house to progressive house, and I'm now actually moving more into the more melodic techno direction. But I really don't like to put a genre on my music. I think that whatever comes out is just what it's going to be, and you can classify it as you wish and as you want. A lot of people know me for progressive house, and that's kind of what I do and what I'm known for. And my label, Out of Limits Recordings, from Stan Kolev and Matan Kaspi, this is my home base, and this is like my really firm, tight-knit crew that we all bounce off of each other and kind of you know, ask each other for direction, and if they like the sound and they like the production, and for tips and tricks, you know, especially when I can ask somebody as renowned as Stan Kolev or Matan Kaspi, when I can ask them, hey, what do you think about this? What should I change? This is very important for me. So I guess that's kind of how my sound goes more towards the progressive direction, is because the people that I get to ask
and
for help.
Influenced with, right?
Influence me, exactly, yes.
You have firmly cemented your place as a high-quality producer already in the progressive scene. How hard is it to stand out while there are so many other amazing artists around?
Well, you know, I don't try to stand out so much. I have my own style, and I want to be unique, you know? So I just, most important is stay true to yourself. And And just be yourself. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, keep trying and don't give up, you know? That's it, so.
I agree. So what else can we expect from you in the future?
A lot. I have a lot of exciting news coming, and a lot of new productions and new releases. I have a big collaboration with Pellet and Bitoko on, I don't have a label yet, actually, I'm searching, so if anyone comes up, I'll let you know. But that, and I have a super strong EP also with Pellet on Desert Hearts Black. I just released today a new single on my label, Out of Limits.
Okay.
And I have so many new things coming, new tracks in the works, new productions, new collaborations. So the future is super bright in terms of music and my productions. And in terms of gigs and shows, I'm gonna head after this to Thailand for a 2-month, well, it's really a 1-month tour, and then 1 month of relaxing. And then after that, I head back to Mexico, and I'll be in Mexico for a few months, and then heading to Brazil to play the Universal Paralelo Festival for New Year's Eve, which I'm super excited about. So yeah, that's kind of what the future is for me, and I'm just really happy to be able to do what I love and
living the dream.
Dance, so,
so that's about it for today, and we're so excited to see you play today.
Thank you.
All right.
Awesome.